That was Carolyn by Matthew Falabella. We have Matthew here in the studio with us. Matt, thanks for coming by.
Sure.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So, a horror film, I would say, a little bit. This is the first horror film we've had, but it's interesting that you use that score from the other movie underneath. I've seen a couple of your movies, and you like to do that a lot. What movie was that, and why do you put those movies on there?
Yeah, I started out with a clip from the 7-Year Itch, and
That's what. Okay.
Yeah, that was the film, and I don't know. I find myself always kind of referencing pop culture in my films. I've done a short film where I actually used an older jazz song, and I kind of cut a video to that. And I find myself using a lot of movies. So I don't really know why. I just like to kind of incorporate like an older type of feel into like a modern movie.
Yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition of the old romantic scene and
Right.
this absolute horror.
Right. Well, you know, in the movie, it was written as the main character, CT, who plays the male lead, it was his girlfriend's favorite movie, and he's kind of, you know, thinking about her and kind of laying in bed reading some of her old notes, and he's watching this movie, you know, half-heartedly. But in addition to that, I don't know if a lot of people know, if they're not familiar with the 7-Year Itch, that's actually a dream sequence in that film. And then you later find out that you know, most of the movie is a dream sequence, so it kind of does tie in.
That's a cool tie-in. I didn't realize that. Now, his girlfriend, is she the girl outside on the phone? I wasn't really sure. It didn't look like her.
She's not. And you know, many people don't recognize that, but she's actually, the girl in the picture is an ex of the male lead in my film, CT's girlfriend, and her name is Carolyn. So it's kind of loosely based on a true story. You know, nothing really tragic happened to his girlfriend.
Okay.
But it was a girl that kind of broke his heart, and she was used as kind of the motivation for the whole film. So we used real pictures, but then the girl outside was another actor that I chose.
Okay, so who is the girl outside supposed to be?
The girl outside is supposed to be his girlfriend in the picture, coming back to him, but in real life, it's not the same girl that is in the photograph. It's a different girl.
So it wasn't based on a true story, but you did have all those newspaper clippings. Was it inspired by an actual accident?
You know, it was really weird because I was going on the internet, and you know, the girl that we used in the pictures, his ex, had no idea that we were doing this film, and probably wouldn't have been too happy with her pictures in the film. But I went on Google, and I was just typing things like, you know, tragic car accident, stuff like this, to get images that I can make look like photographs in a newspaper. And the girl that came up looked so much like the girl in the picture. It was almost scary.
Oh, wow.
So I printed out like 7 or 8. This family had a whole website dedicated to her death, and I used these pictures, printed out a bunch of them, and used them in the film, and they do look really similar.
Yeah, they looked legitimate. I was completely convinced.
Yeah.
So the effects in the movie, I wanted to ask you about that, because in a lot of these, you know, student films, the effects are usually, you know, not that great, kind of amateur, but these looked really good. What did you edit this on?
I use Final Cut Studio 2 to edit everything, and editing's always been something that I love to do. I think it's my strong point. I would hope that it would be my strong point. So, you know, I always love to kind of play around with that, and you know, I tend to veer more towards dramatic films and stuff with moody subject, you know, that I can kind of tie that kind of stuff in. So
yeah, and then the big effect, I think, was the picture frame falling.
Yeah.
How did you pull that off? That was very impressive.
It was hard because we had like fish line kind of string tied to it, so you couldn't see. And I actually had a friend of mine standing off camera, and he would pull it. And every time, you know, we would get this nice tracking shot backwards, and CT would be walking, and then he'd pull it, and the string would break, or the picture would fall, but the glass wouldn't break. And we had several picture frames that we could break several times. You know, use different breaks. But we had no luck with it until finally the last time, and it worked perfectly.
That's great.
I was really happy with it.
Great. So you're a senior.
Yes.
Do you have any plans after college with film?
You know, I've been applying everywhere. I did an internship over this past summer at VH1 in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And I loved it there, so I'm hoping, you know, I really love to do, I love to produce as well as edit. So I kind of want to write my own material as well as edit and film. I love being a videographer, being behind the camera, so I want to try to find a job that I can do all three things.
Well, great. Well, good luck in the future, and thanks for coming by
and
letting us show your film, and we will be right back.